Hey everybody, today we're making the off-cut table, or off-feed table for the new table saw, the Harvey. Looking great, working great. I've done a couple test cuts, as you can see some dust on it. And we're also going to start on the flip top cart for this here, the planer and the jointer. That cart is going to replace this table, and the off-feed table is just going to go there. So we're going to be starting off by measuring up our legs, and I'm just going to roughly cut them to be slightly oversized. Okay, so when setting my camera up over here, I took a picture of the miter saw instead of recording, which is lame because it probably looked pretty good. But you can see right here we have 4 sets of 3, and that will be our legs for our flip top. And then right over here we have 4 sets of 3 plus those other cut-off pieces. Those will be our legs for the off-feed table here. So I'm just going to, I need to go get more wood. I ran out of wood. Okay, I have a couple 2x4s. But that will be enough for this guy. I'm gonna need more. I actually need to glue up more things to get rails. It's supposed to be 3 inches by 3 inches. 44 inches long. Which would be 3 of my 2x4s. I'm going to measure those and cut those. I'm going to try to glue everything all at once. I don't know how. I'll do it. But I'm going to try. So I'll cut a few more things.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to acknowledge that the events that are carried out in this video do not necessarily happen in chronological order. Certain things will be completed in one scene but later on incomplete, and that's just because I positioned the scenes in the video to make more sense of how it should have been done. With that said, the first 15 minutes of this video are going to feel very different from the second 15-ish minutes of this video, because the first 15 minutes is cut from about 5.5 hours of video, and the second is about 34 minutes of smaller clips taken to just kind of capture key moments, as I'm kind of doing a style change to try and improve the quality of the videos.
I'm not able to get the smaller guys in there, so they'll be their own glue up. But I've got my pieces, I got my plan. I'm gonna go glue, and basically take this, flip it here, flip it there, slide it all down. I should have enough room to do the whole thing. And then as soon as I have all of them against this, I'm going to take the end rails and just slide them as close as I can. Let's glue these guys up. I do need a place to put this down. think I will just go like this. Place this cord. There we go. That'll work. Okay, now I'm just going to try to get a nice even coat of glue. Should probably put on my shop apron, but glue is one of those things where I never know if I have enough. I need another shop rack to put this down on. Actually, I'll use a board, piece of wood. Perfect. Should balance. Cool. All right, so the idea is take this guy, flip him up against here, take this guy, flip him up against here, take all three and shoot him to the back, line them up. I'm ready for the next stage, which is actually the tabletop of this cutoff table. As you can see over here, we still got all our stuff gluing up. I have this set up pretty much ready to go. So essentially, I do two cuts. Cut number one is up against this. And then I will flip it, send it against this fence, and push it through. This isn't a dangerous cut because my fence ends before here. So I don't have that issue about pinching and whatnot. I'm going to start with this side actually, because this side will actually cut off this ugliness. And then I'll flip it and good to go. So I'm going to get my stuff going.
So essentially what I'm doing here is I'm cutting down these old IKEA shelves, and I'm going to use those as the top. Generally you would get like a laminate or something, but I didn't feel like doing that just because I had these on hand, and I'm trying to make this entire project as cheap as I possibly can because I just spent it all on the table saw. The money, that is. One thing I will say, it's dreamy to use. The miter gauge, you really have to tighten down the knobs that adjust the fence forward and back. I had some slippage later on, but I don't really acknowledge that at any point.
Oh, this thing is amazing. It's so good. So that's our top panels done. Now from here we can, I'm kind of trying to figure out the best order of operations because the top's done. I have more wood down there, but I want to leave it overnight. So the next thing I can do is start working on the top for the flip base or flip cabinet. I just cut these to 6 inches, so I now can extend this to 36 inches. I found a pipe. It's actually from a pipe clamp, so I'm going to end up cutting off a chunk and I'll just have a smaller pipe clamp. That's okay. That's a touch over 1 inch. And And now I'm going to run this guy through a whole bunch of times, and probably this guy and this guy.
So I'm cutting a bunch of 1-inch strips to act as spacers between the top and the bottom of the flip top cart. And I'm also going to use these strips to attach the 6-inch extension of plywood, as my plan for the top, or the flip top portion, is to be 30 by 36 inches, but I only had 30 by 30 inch pieces of plywood, so I had to use some other scraps to extend it. And that turned out pretty well. Now, I played with the layout a little bit, and I kind of went around and I figured out where my center was and lined up all that. And then I kind of just went ahead and got it done, I suppose. I just started taking pieces of wood and throwing them on there. I will say, don't build this flip top cart. Not my design. Find a better one. Mine's not, it's not the best. It's too large. It's kind of annoying. I'm going to rebuild it, but not today.
I got a little bit ahead of myself. This is my thing. So I just have it stapled in, or not stapled, but nailed in. And I'm going to add more nails on this side. And I'm not super worried about this thing falling apart despite not using any glue, because when I go to attach the jointer and planer, I'm going to be through bolting the entire thing. So like the bolt's going to go to the other side. I'll do the jointer first because its bolts are like here, here, and the planer are like here and here. That way I will be able to basically use those bolts to compress the whole thing. And as it is right now, this doesn't really move too much, which is kind of perfect. So I'm going to finish nailing this together. And then I'll cut my side piece here. Yeah, it's going good. I'm going to do that. I have all of my boards cut. I'm just going to go through a planing process. I have all my legs glued up. They're going to be turning into 4x4 legs. These two pieces are going to be 3x4. For the flip top cart, I have the actual flip top made, and it's got its little pipe in there already. And these are the legs for the off-feed table.
And now I'm doing my very least favorite thing, and that's milling wood. So I'm using the jointer, which it's too tall. That's actually something the flip top cart is going to address. It's going to lower it by about 6 inches, which is going to make using it so much more comfortable, because it's kind of a stretch right now. And then I do a dance. This is me describing I filled 3 of those bags, and now we're going through the planer, and you can see that the shelf, or the extension wing, is dripping, and This thing is shaking itself apart. I don't know what to do.
Boards milled down to, I went to 1.25 inches instead of 1 inch. So I'm gonna have to redo my math a little bit. Small touch of math adjustment. But at the end, it is going to work out. So I was going to plane these, but now I'm actually just going to take them and do one. And then do one. And hopefully the result is I have nothing left.
I'm taking my 4.5 by 6 inch piece and I'm going to cut it one way, and then I'm going to turn it and cut it another way, and then I'm going to flip it and cut it another way, and do that one more time. It took 4 cuts and I got it done, and it was very dusty. I didn't like it.
4 inches. 4 inches. One side to the other.
Moving on, I'm ripping all my boards to be 4 inches wide, which is actually different from the original plan. Originally, they were going to be 3 inches wide. But I kind of decided I would just change every measurement of this entire thing so I could try and figure out math. And then I had to go on a side quest because I couldn't find the right size washers, so I made my own. And now I'm measuring all my boards after cutting them to the correct width. I'm now cutting them to the correct length. And you're going to see here, I get a little bit more creative with my shots. And as I mentioned earlier in this video, the second 15 minutes of this video is about 30 minutes of recorded time versus the first 15 minutes being around 5.5 hours. This greatly increases my ability to edit videos faster. Also, getting more interesting shots is kind of just funner, and I can still get across the same point of what I'm doing. And here I am stacking blocks. Legs.
I have this perfectly dialed to give me my 4-inch spot. Now, I need to think about my corners. We're gonna bring it this way. All right, thinking about my corners. If this is this corner, the closest corner to me, this edge needs to go. This edge needs to go.
Thinking. Thought.
I think technically I can get rid of any 2 edges and it'll be fine. As long as on the other side, the same 2 edges are the ones that are gone. The top will be the first part going because the bottom rails actually sit about 3 inches up. So that's going to be a bit different.
And now we're getting on to the dados. So I'm setting the height. This is my first time using a dado stack. I've had this dado stack for close to 2 years, I think, and I never put it in the rigid saw because I just didn't want to. But changing blades on this saw is so freaking easy. And I magically got glasses on because I got a bunch of wood chips in my eye. And again, I want a little creative with the shots. I hope you guys like them. I'm a little bit more excited about this part. This was actually a lot of fun doing. I had a bit of slippage on the fence. It actually went a bit too far out, and so one of my legs has a bit of a gouge in it. And essentially I got all my dados cut, and everything just slides together So nice. Just perfect. Very perfect. And then I had to drill my holes for my pipe for the flip top, and that went very well. And then I just started drilling a bunch of pilot holes for my pocket hole screws.
Plan is glue, glue. Perfect. And then boom, boom, pocket holes.
And now we're attaching all of our limbs together. I lost the second half of this, but essentially I made 2 of these, and then I took those long boards and did the exact same thing and just attached them. And then I had a table. Okay, here comes another moment of lost footage. So I was whacking these together to get them in there, and then I ended up using clamps, like a lot of clamps eventually, to get everything attached together and screwed. And then cut, we have our equipment already on the table, and I've drilled my holes through the top, and I started attaching my tools. That went quite smoothly, but I will say the planer shakes the bolts off, so I'm still working on figuring out how to stop that from happening.
It works. It works. Slightly terrifying, actually. But it works. I'm going to clean up some stuff so I can get myself prepared for...
Now we're moving on to the final part. I'm plugging all my holes. I got some glue in there and it's running all over the place, and I didn't spend much time sanding it, like very little. And I'm using my only hand saw, more or less, to do this. And then I apply some paint, and it's absolutely disgusting. It wasn't what I asked for at all. So I just, removed that paint because I didn't want that paint on there because it's disgusting. And I got a nice crisp black paint. And I eventually did the exact same thing with the red paint, which I didn't film. And also one other thing that I did that wasn't filmed in here. I took a couple pieces of pine and I dadoed them to have the groove for the miter, and it worked out quite well. It's not completely done yet. I have to do a bit of trim, but for the most part, we're good to go. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you did, subscribe. That'd be great. And if you didn't, don't subscribe. and that's okay as well. And if there's anything I could do better with my videos, please let me know, because I'm trying to make them as best as I can. Thanks.